Hello everybody, welcome back to Art and Outdoor Life here with John. I hope that you're having a great day, a good morning, great evening, wherever you are, and I hope that you enjoy this video. Thank you for viewing. Welcome back everybody. Okay, I'm gonna take you step by step without using white on how you can make a very good looking landscape painting using only a few brush, and there are some different colors in here, but you can use your own colors. Okay, I'm using a fan brush. Okay, so what I did was I wetted the paper down. Okay, I'm using an orange. Now you can use blue if you want to, any kind of blue or whatever. Okay, I'm using basically one napkin or a piece of a paper towel here, and I'll be using this throughout this whole video, basically to get some of the water access off and to test things. Okay, so now I pretty much, when I paint, I pretty much use a lot of paint. Okay, in other words, I don't do on my videos, I don't do wash after wash. I throw them on really opaque, really thick, and I kind of did this way too. Okay, so I'm outlining, I've already outlined the stream. I'm using an olive green here, okay? If you don't have olive green, that's fine. If you know how I mix my colors, then you know that I use a dark blue along with a lemon yellow to get my greens. But in this case, I'm just using an olive green, okay? And every time, you'll see me with this napkin. It's actually just a little piece of paper towel. Now, right there, I've got different kinds of blues, okay? And I have cobalt blue is all the way to the left. Right in the center there is a mixture of blues. Okay. Now, I think the most important part about this learning process, and I'm learning every time I paint, is it's about water control. Okay. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that your paints are diluted pretty good, okay? Otherwise, you'll get your paint on the pigments on there really thick, and they're hard to come off, depending, And in this video, what I'm going to be showing you is how to make a pretty nice scene, a very nice scene, landscape scene, without using white, and we're going to be creating a waterfall. But at the same time, okay, we're going to be using, we're going to make some hills, we're going to make some grass areas, okay. Now, the fan brush does not hold water unless you put water in it, okay? So the fan brush is one of my favorite brushes, okay? And the reason why is because I can dry brush it, and I can also wet it very well, and it's all water come down. So I'm using, this is a very watered down Prussian blue. It's very watered down. It's almost like a gray. That's how watered down it is, okay? Now, there, right there, and this is another thing, okay, on these large sheets, and this is, I believe it's not 9 by 12, it's probably the next one up. So, what I'm doing here, and when we're doing these, gotta be very careful, because those are dark colors, those are dark blues, mixed with a little bit of green, okay? The pigment I'm using, very strong pigment. It's not diluted, as you could see. And that's the outline, what we're going to do here as a waterfall. So, you got to be very careful when you're doing that. And I'm always wiping off my brush, because it's kind of like using a brand new brush all over again, right? Okay, so I'm using right there, I'm mixing, that's like a Prussian blue or ultramarine blue with just a touch of cobalt blue, okay? And I'm basically just going back, the very run-down, watered-down blue actually became a gray. So, in the beginning. So, now I'm just kind of going back, and I'm kind of darkening it up a little bit here, as you see. Okay? Now, if you follow along here, if you're following along here, and if you're new, you're going to love this. You're going to love this. Okay. Now, right here, I have a mixture of colors. I have my own Payne's Gray in there, okay? I have a video on how I make my own Payne's Gray. If you have Payne's Gray out of the tube, these are all from out of the tube, then that's where your Payne's Gray would be on my palette. That's what it would be. Okay. Now, you see how dark that is, that line I painted across? It's way too dark. Way too dark. So how do we get rid of these? How do we try to make the best of these? Well, what we do is we dip our brushes into water, and we do it pretty quickly. And then we wet the paint so that the paint loosens up, and then we tap it with paper towel. Okay, now you see it's still gray there, right? Because that's not all of the pigment is never going to come off there. But we're not using white here, okay? I love white, and I use white a lot. Recently, I've been using white gouache, but I don't always use white. So I'm using lemon yellow. See how much I have on this fan brush? And that's thick. It's not watered down. So just really gently tapping it around the trees and on these hills. Yellow goes very good against orange and red, obviously. And yellow is an amazing color. Every color is amazing. But this is lemon yellow. It's very bright. And if you've ever watched any of my videos, then you know that I like putting lemon yellow or a bright yellow against the blue. And that's what I'm doing here. Basically, and if you ever noticed or ever even, kind of looked at any of my paintings, it's not just putting like the lemon yellow over the blue. It's not just doing that. It's also about what angle are you putting it on? How much lemon yellow are you putting it on? You don't want it to be too runny. With these fan brushes, you have complete control on a fan brush, because the fan brush doesn't hold any water unless you put the water in there and then you go directly to the paper. That's one of the fascinating things about these fan brushes. Now, as you see, as I'm moving around in this painting, and with the blending of the lemon yellow against the blue, it's changing the tone of the pigments. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm putting in a little bit more blue, and I'm kind of outlining this. Okay, what I'm doing is I'm putting in some depth. Okay, in other words, the shades, the dark, the dark against the light, the lighter colors, as if we were looking at it in real life. So here I'm just coming across there, and then I was like, okay, this is how I paint. I will say this though too. I'm always experimenting. Every painting for me is experimenting. Okay. Now in this video, I'm not using no card, and I'm not using any white at all. Okay. So here I am. I'm dipping. See, I have a few different little wells there of different kinds of blues. Basically, the three blues I'm using is ultramarine blue, cobalt blue, and a Prussian blue. So here is the waterfall. So how do we make a waterfall without using white? Well, we got to be careful. So what I was doing was using the fan brush, and with just a little bit of white, or my apologies, a little bit of blue, a darker blue, and I had a little bit of water on it, but using the water against my napkin, it wasn't runny, so therefore I was able to create those lines coming down for that waterfall. Okay, now here I'm using an umber, okay, and that's basically, and it's mixing with the green, and those are wonderful earth tones, especially when you mix it with the green, because I want it to be, when I was painting this, I was wanting some earth tones in there. Okay, now this green here I did not create. I forgot the name of it offhand. There's so many different kinds of tones of green. This is a very dark green when you put it on your palette, but if you lighten it up, it becomes super bright. okay? And then I'm mixing in that green with a little bit of ultramarine blue. And now I'm letting the fan brush do the strokes, right? These are brush strokes. And if you look at the scene already, now the very important thing, very cool thing about this is that orange sky set up the whole atmosphere on this. You see that? That orange sky set up the entire atmosphere so that the white is popping. The white from the paper is popping. I didn't have to use white. We don't have to use white. Okay? And then what I'm doing here is with different shades of green that I'm creating between the lemon yellow and the blues. Now I can lighten up some of the ground, give it grass effects, the grassy kind of shades, and people can look at it as shades of grass or bushes, tree lines, those kind of things. Okay? So, I'm looking at this and there's the cobalt blue. Should I use it? Or should I use this or what? I'm really thinking about this. Even though this is the entire painting. I did not at all, edit the time on this. So with some of the Payne's gray that I made, just barely touching that beautiful orange sky. And never be afraid to use your fingers. In fact, I enjoy using my fingers on my paintings because there's something about feeling the paint. And it's the same thing like when I paint, I don't listen to music or anything because I love to listen to the brushes. I love hearing the brushes. So now what I'm doing is I'm putting in a little bit of dark there. Basically, to kind of give it more depth, okay? You hear it a lot. The dark comes up front. The dark pushes everything back. But it just depends. Look at that dirty water. It's all dirty water. And I'm just tapping this fan brush, okay? Because now what I'm going to do is, we're going to kind of get this paint and we're going to activate it again while we still can, okay? And we're going to take that napkin or paper towel and we're going to erase some of this. Okay, so now how do we make this look more realistic? Okay, so we're getting green in here mixed with some of the blue. Okay, and what else are we looking for in here? Okay, so if you're not happy with it right away, you can tap with it. You can tap on that, or you can leave it, or you could swipe it. You could swoop it. Okay, see on the side here, I'm on the right side. That's cobalt blue. There's no water in that, and I was just testing the color to see what it would look like. So So I figured, okay, let's make this look more blue at the bottom. We didn't have to do that. And that is dirty water. Yeah, it is. But look at that. There's green on there. There's all kinds of colors. That's why with the fan brush, and you only need a little piece of paper towel. So now, with a little bit of water on there now we can reactivate this paint because we have water on the brush, right? And we just kind of move the water around, and then what we can do is, in this painting, what I did was basically, you know, we don't want to mess with the white. We don't want to touch the white because that's the paper from the waterfall, from that stream. But we can always like create a mist effect or something like that at the bottom of this waterfall. And that's what I was doing here. But you can do this. You can do this. So I'm just touching up here. I'm putting, it is a little bit dark, so I'm just putting a little bit more lemon yellow here and there, just for shades, and having a great time. I want to thank you for viewing this, and if you enjoy my videos, please hit like and subscribe. It don't cost nothing. I don't make any money off of these, and I enjoy doing these if it helps you in any way and inspires you.